Okay, this is now the 5 minute tower for the 16th of April 2016. And I was shuffling a few minutes ago. And okay, when I shuffle, I've got the cards, they face down, right? So when I look at the card, I see the back. Okay, this is awkward to do, but when I was shuffling like this, okay, at a certain point, a couple of cards fell out, or they sort of took off and landed on the table face up. So the top card was the Fool, and there's a second card with it. And when I looked at it, it happened to be the Ten of Swords, but it was reversed. So if the Fool is upright, the Ten of Swords is reversed. If I turn them the other way, the Ten of Swords is upright, but the Fool is reversed. But the way I looked at it, the Fool was upright, and I thought, okay, I'm going to talk about the Fool. But then somebody a few days ago left a comment about combinations of cards. How do you combine different cards to get maybe a composite picture? So I thought this Fool and Ten of Swords reversed combination might be worth looking at. And this is what I'm going to do today. So I've got two cards. What do I begin with? And you might think, okay, we'll start with the Fool because the Fool's a major trump. So maybe in some way it's more important, or it ought to be more important, or maybe it's dealing with a wider or a more important event or circumstance. But then I thought, no. When I looked at the two cards, the sword card was underneath. So it's as if, because it was underneath, it came before the Fool. So the Ten of Swords reverse is maybe indicating something about what happened in the past. And I think it's always a good idea to start with the past. If you've got a past, present, and future, when you know what was, then you've got a better chance of understanding what is going on right now. But if you start with what's going on now, you can be guessing because you don't know where you've come from. So I'm looking at that Ten of Swords. I'm thinking this came before the Fool, so it's the past. It's in some way it's indicating what has happened, or maybe we'd look at it as the foundation or the underlying reason for the Fool, or the motivation that brought the Fool to the top of the pile, so to speak. So if we look at it that way, that this Ten of Swords reverse can show the foundation of the motivation, then we've got the Ten of Swords reversed. There were various attempts, or there was one attempt at a new beginning. Ten of Swords, 10 is 1 plus nothing, for the beginning of a new saga, but it's upside down. So it's as if whoever it is, the person tried maybe more than once to make a new beginning, but it didn't work. So attempts to have a new start failed. Or maybe there were multiple attempts at new beginnings, but they failed. It didn't work. Or you're dealing with disappointment or failure or difficulties. It's as if with the Ten of Swords reversed, whatever it was, the desire for something new or the desire to get out of a difficult situation, it wasn't in the cards, we could say. Or maybe because it's swords and it's reversed, then in the past you tried aggression, or you tried attacking the problem, and it didn't work because maybe because attacking the problem wasn't the way to go. Sometimes if there's something wrong, you just attack it, you cut it out and get rid of it, and that works. But in this case, the Ten of Swords reversed, that type of approach of meeting the problem head on and fighting it, or trying to cut it out, trying to remove it, that didn't work. But because we've got the Fool on top, now if you try to make a fresh start, it's going to work, because the Fool can represent new beginnings, and it's upright, and it's on top of the Ten of Swords. But this new beginning is the Fool, not just any old card of beginnings, because it could have been the Ace of Batons on top of the Ten of Swords reversed, which would have meant a fresh start, a new beginning. But this because it's the Fool, and we think about the nature of the Fool card, because we've got the Ten of Swords reversed for a failed new start, but now we've got the Fool. It's as if we don't want just any old new start, but we want something on a new level or a new volume, right? Something different, or something more complete, or something that starts you on a whole new path of development, or a whole new level of understanding, or a whole new volume. Let's say it's a business question. So you want a new start, but you don't just do what you've done and try and do more of it. You sort of expand and do something maybe with new people or on a larger scale, right? Because it's a major trump, because it's the Fool. So maybe what you do is this new there's going to be a new beginning. But if you go for it in a big way, or if you harmonize the new beginning with a larger picture or a larger life lesson, or maybe with an idea of having a life purpose, that's the way to go, because it's the Fool and it's a major trump. I'm not saying that major trumps are automatically more important than minor trumps. And in many ways they're not. But here we can contrast, because we've got the Fool, which is a card with a title, and we've got the Ten of Swords, which is a card that represents or brings in one of the suits. So it seems to me to make sense in this case that the Ten of Swords reversed is typical, normal awkwardness and difficulties in life, and the Fool is something new and something different and something bigger and something more purposeful. And if you go in that direction, then you get success, you have success. But we could look at that Ten of Swords reversed and think of it not so much or not just as a new beginning, but maybe the card can represent frustration or disappointment. And we can see that, I think, from the Ten of Swords. There was annoyance or upset that things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, or there was disappointment because it's a card of failure. But if there has been that kind of experience in the past, because the card was underneath, that's not the future. So if the questioner has been upset or frustrated, then they can look forward to a brighter beginning or a changed circumstance, because it's like they've got a new lease on life. It's happening now if they take advantage of it. So there's going to be new enthusiasm, a new sense of adventure. And so don't be held back by what happened in the past, because it's about to be covered by, or is already being covered by, a sense of adventure, which will be stronger than past disappointments. Okay, that was something about a couple of cards, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a couple on, and I'll pick a couple of cards and see what we can do, see what sense we can make of two cards in combination, and maybe deal with that previous questioner's question. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.